Greetings. Today we will be working on building a robot in Photoshop. Now this is an entry-level project just to get us started. Yesterday I kind of went through some of the tools and we went through a little bit, but today I want you to follow along with me. Feel free to pause it at any time and work step by step. And you can always rewind it. This is not where you have to start and keep up. This is not a race. I may go a little fast, but you have the option of slowing me down or rewinding it if you need to do it. So let's go ahead and start this by opening up Photoshop. I have Photoshop in my dock. You might have it in your dock, but let's go ahead and we're going to, if you don't have it, we'll go to the apps block, click that and type in PH right here, right? And you can take PH and you'll see Photoshop. I have two. And if you have two, pick the 2025 version. If not, just open whichever one you have. I have mine in the dock, so I'm going to go ahead and open it here. Now I'm going to click once, and you're going to see that Photoshop starts bouncing. In the Mac OS, that's to let you know that it is working, but it may take a couple of seconds to load all those resources. So if you ever wonder if it's loading or not, just know when it bounces, that's what it means. So let me show you where we're going. It's not that great, but at least it's fun. So I've created one called Norbitron, and this is kind of where we're going at, and I made this goofy little robot, but that's where we're going to go to. So you don't have it open, so you don't need to do that. I'm going to start you from the beginning. You should see something like this. If not, let's go ahead and try to hit the new file. Click this blue button over here, new file. We'll click that. And up on top, you're going to see a lot of these different templates, right? So, and they're application specific. In other words, depending if you're going to put it on the web, this is a bunch of web templates. If you're going to do photos, in other words, it's really high resolution, glossy photos, you want to work in here if you're working in photography. But we also do art and illustration, but you can also have presets for print, because that's what we're going to do. All right, and print, we'll get more into all this at a later time, but let's just get started so you can actually start to create. So go to letter. This is the most basic we can use, and we're going to stick with inches because this is the default 8 by 5 inches by 11 inches. That's the actual size of a white piece of paper from our copier, which again, you will be printing this project to turn it into me. So let's up here where it says Untitled, let's go ahead and call that robot. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and hit create. All right. And it'll get you here. So the very first thing before we even do anything on the page, before we even start our project, we want to save this project. Yes, even if it's blank, because that means this Photoshop has like an auto save feature. And if it crashes, at least it'll have a save point. So we want to save it so it knows where to go. So we're going to come up here and we're going to hit file, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to just click on save as. All right. It's going to give you this option. You want to save it to the cloud? No, we don't. We want to come down to the bottom left, save on your computer. And for today only, we're only going to save it in your documents folder. So look for one that on the left-hand side that says documents, and then we're going to just go ahead and label it. I'm going to just label it robot 1, right? PSD. So, and if this says anything like anything other, like maybe it might say PNG under format, or maybe it might say large document format. We don't want that. We want to save it as a Photoshop format because it'll save all of your little edits, right? So we'll hit save. And now we have our workspace loaded. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is build the body, right? And how do we do that? We come down and we look for some tools. Now, like I mentioned, if you hover over, now don't click, if you hover over these tools, you're going to see that it gives you a name of the tool and it tells you what it's used for. For example, the selection brush allows you to select single or multiple brush strokes, right? And I'll tell you what it's used for. Here's the crop tool, right? And then it gives also, if you want, you can watch a little video to show you how to use each and every tool. Some of you have used Photoshop before, but do you know every single tool? Maybe, maybe not. But perhaps you can take it another step and you can teach yourself the tools that you didn't learn in previous sessions of Photoshop. But for the rest of us, we're going to play it cool. We're going to go look all the way down here, and you should see a shapes tool. Now, this one here is going to basically, it says it's a triangle tool, but on the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see, on a lot of these actually, you're going to see a little tiny triangle. And what that means is that there's other tools hidden. So what you need to do is click and hold, right? And it'll pop up this other menu. So if I have triangle, maybe some of you have the rectangle icon. Maybe some of you have the ellipse tool icon, but all of these tools live underneath the kind of the same area. The polygon tool, okay? And then the star tool. But all of these, it could be any of these. The way that you're searching for it is just hover over them and see if you can find the right one, right? The text tool, if you hold this down, it has the horizontal tool or the vertical tool. Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and start with the rectangle tool. So the first thing I want to do is we'll start with a body. So I'm going to go ahead and make the top portion of his torso, right? And I don't want him as his body black, so I'm going to basically make a blue. You can choose any color you want. It does not have to be blue. You can choose a color from here, or you can choose a color from here. While it's still selected, I'm going to click Command C, just like copy. You know how to copy text. You can copy certain things. I'm going to hit Control C and then Control V. It's going to make me a copy. Now let's find out if I'm able to pull it off. Okay, well, actually, didn't do that. Let me see if I can select it once. There it is. And Control C, Control V. Now, one thing I want to show you is that looks cool. That's the upper torso and the bottom torso. But down here, it's 50%. I want to zoom in a little bit, so I'm going to take myself to 100%. And again, that's over here in the bottom left-hand corner. That way I can zoom in. And I want to basically taper the bottom of the body, of the torso. So if you really look closely, the corners are not pointed. If I want the corners pointed, I'd come over here to the edges. I talked about the edges, and I would put this at 0. And then the corners would be sharp. But instead, the corners are rounded. But I'm going to leave them sharp for right now. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to hold down Shift. And if I go by the corner, if I click on here and I go by the corner, right? Actually, I'm probably going to have to zoom in more. Let's go ahead and zoom into 200. Okay, so again, I went down here and I typed in 200. And so basically, I'm going to go ahead and hold down. I'm going to click here. And I'm going to hold down. I'm going to hold down the Command button, right? And I'm just going to hold on the Command button. Now, the Command button is the flower-looking tool button right next to the space bar. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to drag it over. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'm going to click this, and I'm going to actually bring it in. Let me see if I can do this. Actually, you know what? There's a different way, an easier way. I'm going to click this. I'm going to come up to Edit. Then I'm going to come to Free Transform. This one right here. Again, click on this. So we can click it. And one of the things that you're going to hear me say a lot, select it to affect it. So if you want to change something, the very first thing you need to do is click on what you want to change. And then we go into what you want to do with it. So here I want a free transform. So I'm going to click Edit. Then I'll hit Free Transform. And now it'll let me transform everything. But since I have all these handlebars, what I want to do is I'm going to see if it lets me bring it in. So I'm going to hold Command, and it lets me just move one corner in. And then I'll be able to click the other corner, and I'll bring this corner in because I want a little tapered bottom. You see that? But I'm holding down the Command button as I move it. So my finger has not left the Command button. So it's still on. Now I release it. Okay. I'm going to Command Z just so you can see me do that again. So once you're in Free Transform and you have these little handlebars, these little blocks, they'll let you shrink and they'll let you move resize this shape. But I just want the bottom corners to move. So I'm going to hold down Command, which is the button next to the space bar, and I'm going to bring it in. And I'm still holding Command down. Then I'll choose this little box and I'll bring it in. If you're not seeing the little boxes, I'm going to tell you right now. It's because down here, you're probably not at 200%. We want to zoom in. It's okay if maybe you want some more space. I'll go to 300% maybe. Is that good? Well, hey, that's good too. Then you can even see it better. But I'm gonna go back to 200 because I want to make sure I can see everything. All right, so there you go. That's the torso. So I'm gonna move before we move anywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and click this, hit copy, Command C, and then Command V for paste. It makes me a little duplicate, right? I don't want it to be the same color because it's kind of throwing me off. So let's click on the rectangle tool. Click on here. Click on the second little clone. Click on the rectangle tool. And up here on fill, we can change the color of that one. I'm going to make it a green so it really stands out. Ooh, super bright. And what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to edit. But instead of free transform, I'm going to go down one level to transform. And I'm going to go ahead and hit scale. It's going to give me the handlebars, but this time I don't have to worry about holding anything down. I can just bring it in to make it slightly smaller. Okay. And we're going to hold off on that for a second. And then I'm going to bring this because we're still building it. Now I want to close this up and I want to bring this in. So I'm just moving it in so it can kind of merge a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then there's kind of our whole torso, right? And then so I'll go back to 100%. Again, I'm changing the size of the picture here, and I'll hit return. So there you go. There is our torso, or part of our torso. I'm going to use this at a later time, so I'm going to put this to the side. All right. Next thing I want to do is I want to create kind of like the screen on a robot. So we're going to still use the rectangle tool. Right, you can do a lot with a rectangle tool. I'm going to make like this control chest, right? So there's his control chest, and it is this like lime green. Let's make it a little bigger. Okay, that's cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cancel this because I stepped away. Now let's change the color real quick. Let's go with it doesn't really matter. You can pick any color you want, but as long as you change this out a little bit. So I'm going to click over here. I'll click this select button, right? Or move button, the move tool. And then I'm going to click back on here. And I'm going to make another square kind of right here, rectangle, actually right there. But I'm going to change that color to maybe red. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start that right there. I think that's good. All right. Now I'm going to move up. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I use the scroll wheel. I'm going to use this move tool. You're going to see a lot. I'm going to hit the move tool. Then I'm going to go back to the rectangle tool, move tool, then rectangle tool. So now that I'm here, I like that, but I'm going to get some knobs, some big knobs so I can turn, right, to calibrate our robot. So you come down here. Hold this down and go to the ellipse tool. Now the ellipse tool is basically how you make circles, right? And you can make them, they can be like egg-shaped, which are oval-shaped, right? Or you can make them tall, but it's just oval. But if you want to make circles that are perfect, you're going to hold down the shift button and you just click and drag and they'll make a perfect circle. I'm going to hit Command Z to undo. Let's go ahead and make a couple of those. So actually I want two that are exactly the same. So I'm going to click on that one and I'm going to change that color to black, right? You can change whatever color you want as long as you can see it, right? And then I'm going to go back to the move tool. I'm going to select this, actually move over here. Somehow it joined it. So what I like to do is Command Z, just get it out of the way, and Command Z again. Because sometimes it'll do some weird things where it'll actually put things together when it shouldn't. So I'm going to go back to my ellipse tool, and I'm going to go ahead and hold down shift again and make that red. And I'm going to change that fill to black. See how it's changing it again? So let me go ahead and go back again. There's one easy way to do this to avoid that. I'll show you in a second. All right, went back. So we're good. I went back to the move tool to go away. Now we have all these rectangles here. I am going to join them, but not just quite yet. So what I'm going to do here is let's go ahead and I'm going to lock all these so we don't mess up what we have already here. All right. So the way you do that is you click on one and then you hit the little lock right here. Lock that. Click on this. Lock that. Click this. Lock that. Click on the next one. Lock that. We're clicking all the little rectangles so nothing gets lost. So now if you select it, you can't even move it because it's almost like it just places it and locks it. That's the best way to work in Photoshop so you don't mess things up. So now we can go back and let's work on our buttons. All right, so I'm going to click, hold down Shift. I'm going to create a button about that size. I'm going to change it to black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say hit Command C and Command V. But actually, let me hit the Move tool real quick. Click that. So I click again, click the Move tool, click on here, Command C, Command V, and it gave me another button. So I'm going to put that one right there, and I'm going to put this one right here. And those are two knobs. Now, if I really wanted to make like little dials and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and create it again, make another one using Shift, but I'll make it small. Well, let me get that one again, move that. Hold on Shift, and I'll make a small one. And I'll make this one, open up this color palette. And let's make kind of like a grayish color, I guess. And I'll get a Move tool. I'll select this, copy, and paste. I don't know if it made one, but I'll put that in the center. Copy and paste. Did it give another one? I'm not seeing it, but there it is. Maybe I wasn't grabbing it right. So I'll put these in the center so it can be like little dials. Again, this might be just me being a little extra, but it's okay. So now I want to make some other dials underneath the screen here. And so I'll create some more circles. Again, this is just fun with circles. Hold down Shift, and then we'll make one circle like this. But this time, I don't want the fill. I want just the edge, the outside. So instead of the fill, I actually want the stroke, this next one. It's basically the outline. So I'll click on that, the stroke, and I'll make that stroke gray. And the fill, I'll take it out. But instead of 1 pixel, I'll make the fill around 12 pixels. Okay? So then, again, go back to my Move tool. Click on here. Copy. Let me see if it lets me copy and paste. Give me some copy, paste. Oops. There it is. Oh, now it's giving me some weird stuff. Hold on. If it always messes up on you, do what I do. I just Command Z until I go back to the original state. All right. I'll bring it down here. Copy, paste. And I'll paste again, just V. And I'll go ahead and put this up. Now I can't really see those. So I'm just going to change, instead of gray, I'm going to go ahead and, again, maybe because I'm just colorblind, I'm just going to change them all to white. And if you see what I'm doing, I'm just selecting them and I'm selecting and making them white. All right. So we're almost done, guys, actually, with the body. So remember I said this one, let's go ahead and find this, let's go ahead and find this rectangle because I want to just lock in this and have one layer. There's so many layers. So to find this, to ever find out a layer that you want, what you want to do is see this eyeball here. You want to poke them out and it'll tell you which layer is what. I found it on the second try. So find that second little layer that you locked and unlock it, because now we want to move it over. We want to move it over here, and we want to recolor it. So we'll go ahead and click the shapes tool. We'll click here, click to select it. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, probably right here. Click it to select it. Click the shapes tool. See, it's how the fill is green up here. Click on that fill, and there's this cool gradient, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to color it a gradient style. So we're going to click the gradient, and now notice how it turns black. It has this cool little gradient to kind of give it an extra type of texture, right? And I do like using that. But instead of black, I'm going to go with a preset here, and I'm going to go with this color here. But I want it to be darker on the bottom, and I want it to be light on top. And the way you change that is you see this dial here. You can just grab it and click it and turn it towards the bottom. And there you go. I just flipped it. All right. Now, again, if I want to change the color down here from purple, I just can double click this box right here. And it'll give me, I think it's purple. I'm colorblind, so you guys tell me in class. So we'll use this one, and I'll hit OK. I like that. And there you are. There's the body. All right. So now what do I want to do here? I want to make sure all this body is locked in together in one area. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the selection tool. And again, you can hold it down, rectangular marquee tool, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and click on all these. And I don't know if it'll let me do it because everything's locked. But I'm going to right click, and I'm going to see if it lets me. No, it won't let me do it. I was going to lock them all together. So I'm going to lock this version. So let me go back to the moved tool. Click on this rectangle and then lock it. So now my body is locked. Okay. Now, if I wanted to put them all, so I can, let me see if I can do it this way. It may work, it may not. This new version, I'm used to the old version where I can group everything. Basically have it all on one roof. So I'm going to click layer 0. And again, all these layers are just all this stuff. So I hit shift click and it basically selected all of them. And then I can go ahead, I right click, and let me see if I can merge layers. I guess that's the new group. So I'm going to go ahead and merge layers. And it's all one layer. And I'm going to call this body. Boom. And then once it's merged, I'm going to lock it. Boom. So you don't have all of these layers here, and you just have one simple shape. All right. So that's important because we're going to be moving on. We got to create the arms and the heads and the legs. Now this is easy. This is fast. So what we're going to do here is let's go back to our, right now we have the ellipse tool. So let's go back to the rectangle tool. And I'm going to hit deselect. If yours is selected like this, you can always hit deselect and it'll take that off. And the first thing I want to make is I want to make the neck. And the neck, you got to make sure when you start with your shape, you can also dictate the fill color. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make this one, the neck, black. All right. So here's the neck, and we're just going to make another square or rectangle, right? Big wide neck for all those things, for all the wires. So there's my neck, right? But now let me make the joints for the shoulders since we're here already. So I'll click on the rectangle tool. Boom, I'll make one joint. Then I'll select the move tool. Again, like I said, we're going to go back and forth from the move tool to the shapes tool. Copy, and when you paste, I don't know if it lets me paste. Oops, then let me do that. Control or Command C and Command V. Let's see, Command V. I guess it won't let me do that. It's being a little stubborn. All right, so let me go ahead and make it again on this side then. Actually, let me select it. Command C, Command V. Nope. It didn't want to do that. I'm going to hit deselect on this. Command, there it is. I don't know why it struggles so much for that. I'll probably look it up before class and I'll let you know what's going on. If those of you who know it, have had Photoshop before, let me know. All right. So here we go. rectangle tool again. So now let's go ahead and make the head and we'll make the shoulders. So a lot of this is going to be rectangle tool, right? So from here on out, mostly, right? Until we get to the eyes and stuff. So let's make I'm going to make a wide head. Do I like it? Yeah, I want it bigger than that. I like a big headed robot. But I want a different color. Maybe I'm going to match it to my body. Okay. And maybe I want the edges a little more curved. So instead of 10, I'll make that maybe 15. Okay. So that it curves in, has like little rounded edges. And let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and make some more, 2 more. Make some shoulders. All right, here's one. And I copy and pasted it. So you can, it's the same color. So sometimes it hides. I'm going to make the shoulder there. All right. And again, let's make the arms. Same thing with the rectangle tool. The arms I'm going to color black. And you can, again, you can use whatever color you want. I'm going to Command C, Command V, if it allows me. Did it. Awesome. All right. See how it's this one's on top of this block and this one's underneath. Okay, there's an easy way to do this. Let's click on this and then we're going to go to layer. And we should see something called arrange. And arrange you can send backwards or send to the back if it's multiple layers. So we'll just hit send backward. Okay, it didn't do anything, so it probably needs, you select this again, click on it, and we'll go back to layer, go to arrange, and we're going to send it to the back. Oop, it went to way back, so let me undo this. So let me go ahead and do that one more time, layer. And you might have to do it multiple times. Sometimes I've noticed that it does that. So let's go send backwards. There it is. So now it's to the back. All right. Now, if you feel that my arms are a little too short, maybe you want to make them bigger, we could always go back to edit. Again, we can do free transform, where you get the little handlebars, and you can make them a little longer. Right. If I want to click this one, edit, free transform, make these a little longer. All right. So there's a couple of things. Now let's go ahead and work on the legs. All right. Same thing. And again, if you want to move out a little bit more, I'll go to 75% on the side. Again, here it's down here for the zoom. And I will go ahead and we will click on the rectangle tool again. And let's make some legs. All right. Command C, Command V. Like I said, it looks like these are up front. Okay, we'll just go ahead and we're just going to line these up in the bottom here. Seems that we merged the background with the body, so we're not going to deal with that too much right now, but I just know that we'll just line it up. If you can't get it behind, that's okay. Let's continue. For the feet, let's go ahead and we're going to hit the triangle tool. Okay. And we're going to make that triangle. We're going to hit copy and then paste. The reason why we can make a secondary one, but I just think that this is a lot easier. If you accidentally click with any of the shapes, it's going to want you to enter some parameters for a new shape. Just hit cancel all the time like I am. Right? Hit the move tool and then bring it up to where it kind of makes sense to merge it inside the feet. So you can have some robot feet. Okay. And then let's go ahead and what we'll do here is we're going to go back to our rectangle tool and let's make a rectangle tool, but let's make a rectangle. Let me bring that back over here. And let's make a rectangle out here. This is going to be the mouth. Okay. And see how it's going behind. Let's hit that. Click layer. And let's go ahead and arrange. Let's go bring it to the front. And it'll place it right in the front. There's our mouth. We're going to click the ellipse tool. And hold on shift again. Let's make some big eyes. Actually, I don't want them two different sizes. So I'll hit Command C, Command V. And it'll give me the eyeballs. So now it's starting to come together. And for the eyes, I want them to have some life. So I'm going to click on the fill here. And I'm going to click that gradient again. But I want the gradient to be a little different. Okay? I want the gradient to start from the inside of the pupil and then go out. So down here, you're going to notice that it has linear. We're going to change that to radial. Okay? And we're going to give it some color. I'm going to give it some of this cool eyeball color here. And I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to click that fill, do the same thing, hit this cool thing called gradient. It's the second block over. And then I'm going to come down here again to where it says linear. And we're going to click radial. And I'm going to choose this orange one to give it some really cool eyes. Actually, I'm going to give it a black stroke. And how many pixels? I'm going to add, I'm going to make the stroke like 10.14 pixels. So I'm going to go here. I'll go over to this one, choose this one, make the stroke black, and I'll make it a little big. I'll just try to match this one. If you make it big, it's going to have like it could be a little odd. It's okay. So there are our eyes. Next thing you want to do is hit Command S. It's going to say okay. So when you hit Command S to make sure you don't lose your work. All right. Yours, you may have different proportions than mine. That's okay. And if this thing gets in the way, you can always move it. This is a little toolbar that floats around. So I'm going to have that. We're going to do the hands, but for the hands, we'll do something different. Go down here and I'm going to look for the text tool. Click on the text tool. And then I'm going to click anywhere and I'm going to type the letter C. Well, I'm going to hit Shift and C for the capital C, right? So I'm going to hit C, highlight it. And then I'm going to make it really big, probably like 150. Well, that's a little too big. Let's make this 75 pixels. Might be a little too big still. Let's do 50 pixels. Yeah, that's right. And what I'm going to do now that I have that highlighted, I'm going to move my toolbar over. I'm going to go back to edit. Let me see. Let me get the move tool. I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to do the free transform tool. And I'm going to hover over until it has the two arrows where I can actually turn it down. Okay. And I'll grab this and I'll put right at the bottom. It's kind of like a Lego, right? Like a Lego hand. I'll hit done to confirm it. Click that. Command C, Command V. Here's my other one. And there it is. There's your little robot. You can add some stuff, like you can have like add an antenna if you want. You can do different things. I'm going to come down here and type in 50% so I can see the entire paper. And the last thing I want you to do, or there's two things I want you to do. I want you to go to the text tool, and down here I want you to write your name. I'll type Mr. Juarez. So I know where you're at, and I want you to basically state what period you are. So you can hit return or enter, and then type in the period you're in. So if you're in 6th period, let me see. I don't know where I'm at. Go back to the text tool. It's shifted over. Mr. Juarez, text tool, 6th period. Okay. So I know what period you're in. And give your robot a name, right? I'll go back to the text tool here, and I'll call him Mr. Roboto. And I'll double click this, and I'll highlight everything. And now maybe I want to give it a new font, a cool font. All right. Maybe that, oh, that one looks like a robot. Mr. Roboto. I'm not worried about centering it or anything. I'm just keeping it right there. And then hit Command S to save it. Okay. If not, you can also come to File, and then of course you can save as to save it again. But see how the save is grayed out. That means you already saved it. Now, if I move the Mr. Roboto just a little bit, I want you to take a look that now when you go to File, save is not grayed out because you made a change. So you can hit save. Now, how do you turn this in? All right. You can turn it in real easy. All you got to do is hit File, and then you're going to hit Print right here. And look at the shortcut. It's that little flower, Command, and then P. So you can click that, or you can just hit the shortcut Command P. And then once it's here, I can't see it. There's something going on here, right? Let's go ahead. It's because it's on landscape. So let's go ahead in portrait mode so we can see your whole thing. If your name is cut off, then you can't do it. So then you just go ahead and hit print. All right. And make sure it's under Rico over here. It's just going to give you it's going to tell you that the colors may not match because they won't. The screen has different colors. It can print more. It can show you more colors than the printer can print. So I'll just agree to that and just hit print and just hit don't show again because it's just giving you that warning. The image is larger, then just go ahead and hit proceed, and you'll print that out. And then when you're done, that's what it'll turn into me. All right, guys, you've been great. We'll see you on the next one.